Out there in YouTube land, welcome to Freaking Jeep. My name's John. This is just going to be an intro for what you're going to see tonight, and it was something that I made a couple weeks ago, just kind of feeling poopy, maybe because of the not going to the Bunyan show. Maybe I'm a little more inspired now that I've seen so many videos on the Bunyan show, but just kind of interesting. I want to give out a thanks to @JIB5R for super chat. Thank you very much. Then down here I have a message that I have no idea even what it means anymore. That's kind of how my brain works. So I'm going to show you wood splitting, and I'm going to do some wood splitting now, but that's going to come on later. I'm all set up. The boards that I cut, remember the boards that I was cutting on my mill, I don't know, probably, well, it's before I went down the farm park. That's what I did with those. That's why it really didn't matter, but I don't think I'm going to stack the wood that high, but for now, I'll leave them in there and see what I like. And some of these racks here are different heights. Some of them are a little lower. So I guess they should all come up to the same height though. Comfortable height. I'm going to go up and stack them to a comfortable height, at least a foot above, because that's at least a foot above over there. So anyhow, that's what's going on. So tonight you're going to see kind of something I said a week ago. We've been down at the Friends. I'm trying to get it here in my hand. We were, and I can't tell whether that's shown on Friends of the Farm Agricultural Historical Farm Park, the Fall Harvest Festival 2025. That's where last night's video was, and the video before that was. And tomorrow night's video is going to be that too. So that's what's going on. Anyhow, that's it for a quick intro. I hope you enjoy the wood splitting and kind of what I mean, and you'll see what I mean. It's be hard to beat this system here. So we'll be back in a little bit. Hello, Freaking Jeep, or hello, camera people. Welcome to Freaking Jeep. My name's John, and I basically, from the intro that I did on yesterday's video to this video, click, click, and you're back. Anyhow, I was told you I was a little frustrated with YouTube, a little frustrated with the people that are getting, not by the people that are getting sponsored, by the companies that are sponsoring these people. And I'm starting to turn off of them, and you know, maybe my life expectancy with YouTube is winding down. I'd always said that I had a number in mind that I was going to stop. But I don't know, maybe I'll just cut back. I haven't really figured out what I'm doing yet. Everything is up in the air. But here's my frustrations. I've been doing this for a long time. I got, you know, pretty good crew out there that watches me. But I don't have any backing from any of these big companies. Any of these big companies that are making, in the wood splitting business, in the wood splitting part, you know, nobody particularly follow me there, probably because I don't sell firewood. But, you know, they're not necessarily selling firewood either. They're selling the thing to make firewood. So if people saw me use it, I don't know. Here's what the poop is. I really feel, you know, and I've been thinking about this for quite some time. The reason that no company has reached out to me for trying to have me promote their equipment is because when they look at my channel, they see an old geezer, number one, and nobody pays attention to an old geezer. I can tell you that right off the bat. If I go to some place and I go, hey, this is this, you got to do this, people look at me and basically say, you're too old, you don't know what you're doing. I just came out of school, I know what I'm doing. You know, that type of thing, or, you know, that kind of stuff. And it's not just this, it's not just in this, it's in other things too. So I think that's part of it. The other part of it is, and I kept thinking about it, I don't think anybody's equipment out there is going to surpass what I've got that's been working for 50 years, okay? Or it's been working for probably at least 10 years, okay? You know, I grew up to what I am now, and these guys that are going out and getting in the firewood business, they're all of a sudden snap their fingers, they have a wood splitter or something presented to them, here, split wood, boom. And so that makes their channel a lot more exciting than my channel right off the bat, because, oh, you got a new piece of equipment, oh, you got a new piece of equipment. They ain't buying that crap, okay? they're getting it given to them to sponsor them, which is a good business move for the people that are making it, and it's made a lot of big companies a lot bigger, a lot of good companies a lot bigger. But the reason it's not coming to me is because you're not going to beat the system I got. Okay, if you sit down there and you watch how these, for a one-man system, okay, and a non-wood selling system, okay, or I could sell 2 or 3 cords of wood a year if I wanted to, or I could sell 10 cords of wood. You know, it doesn't matter, but wood ain't easy, okay? I'm going to be 74 in a couple weeks, okay? It ain't getting no easier for me. But that doesn't mean I don't want to be on YouTube, or that doesn't mean I don't want to try out your piece of equipment, or it doesn't mean, you know, but I got a feeling if you watch how I do this, now I'm not going to be going fast because this is real garbage wood, okay? But if you go back and look at, I split 1/3 of a cord by myself, split and stacked in 18 minutes. So I say, you know, on an average, and that was not particularly rushing. You know, sometimes you get good wood to split, sometimes you get crappy wood to split, sometimes you get one stuck in the wood splitter and you got to work it out and stuff like that. You watch all these people that were doing the contest, they're all pristine wood. Some of them tweaked their splitters so the pressure to go from high pressure to low pressure was different, and then, you know, it goes slower if you know how the wood splitters work. So there's a lot of little hocus pocus there. But for a one-man band, I don't think you're going to beat me. And somewhere in here, I was down at Jeff's when I was working on the car, and you'll see the big splitter. And you'll see 2 big piles of wood down there. Okay, those 2 guys split that wood in 12 hours. 2 people, those 2 big piles that are 15 feet tall, split it in 12 hours. Okay, now I know the more people you got, you're going to go faster. But if you are paying those people to do it, we used to call it sales per man hour when I was in the restaurant business, okay? So what are your sales per man hour? And you had to have it in a certain range. So cords per man hour, that's what you're looking at, okay? Now, I couldn't maintain for an 8-hour stretch of producing wood at, you know, a cord every half hour, okay? That just wouldn't happen, okay? So those machines are getting bigger, better, bigger, better, but they're probably not much faster, and they cost a hell of a lot more than this old beat up machine. I probably don't have $500 in this machine, and I'm looking at putting something else together, but I probably won't do it, which I have a lot more than this, but times have changed. Because, you know, I scrounge up parts to put things together, and I'm getting to ramble on and ramble on and ramble on. Don't mean to ramble on, but anyhow, it just kind of frustrates me as these companies give these guys bigger stuff, they get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm just sitting here going, I'm working with what I got. You know, this is old time splitting, and that's what I was, that one guy in there that I mentioned, I don't know if I put it in there, it was this one, wrong sheet. I just had it in here, I don't know what, I lose stuff here. Nelson Ridge Farm, I miss the old YouTube days. Well, I think that's what he was referring to. So I don't know, it just kind of got me frustrated. You know, that if you watch this, okay, and if you noticed, if you watch some of the old videos, I was going to put I had those manure spreaders that I sold, and I was going to make a manure spreader and convert it into a feed cart for this, okay? And the only reason that I was going to do that is to make it faster. And now I saw up at the Bunyan show last year that the Rex machine had that feed thing on there, and I like that. That was if you watched any of those videos. What in the world is down there? I don't know, I'm gonna have to go look. Big bug. That I liked that Rex machine the best because it had that tub that fed it. Then up at Phil's Family Firewood, he's got that basically a hopper that you put the wood in and it feeds it. And I was looking at that, that's pretty nice, and I thought, well, that would speed me up a little bit in one aspect. And then I started thinking about it and go, you know, maybe it wouldn't really speed me up. Because if I got to put my wood into this bucket and then dump it in a hopper, why not just leave it in the bucket and put it here? Okay, the only way that I could see where that would help me, and that's why I was thinking about going to it, is because the other day I had this bucket full of wood, okay, and I didn't feel like splitting it, okay, but I needed the bucket to put more wood, because once I fill that bucket, I very seldom will unload it. I mean, I do from time to time, but I don't feel like taking that energy to unload it again and then reload it. So if I had one of those manure spreader log round feeders, I could have just dumped it in there. The other spot where I think it would be helpful, okay, and this kind of goes for how they split down at the Jeffries on that big wood splitter we built years ago, okay, is this thing here. Okay, you've seen my big upside down splitter. I tried to tell Heath to make one of those. He might, I don't know, it'd be on his get well thing. That we built this 10, 12 years ago down in Jeffries. But you split one in half, okay, or quarter, and then you're going to quarter it. So then you pick up the half, and you could go put the half then on top of that manure wood round feeder, okay, or the hopper, or whatever you want to call it. So your last split would be over the hopper, and then all those pieces would be in that hopper. So that's how I could see it being pretty helpful. But I don't think you're going to beat this. So I'm going to split a little wood here. I got to go get my eyeballs on. This is pretty nasty wood. And I'll probably, I don't want too much of splitting wood, because you got some other stuff that I'm going to put on here. And I fixed that bracket up there on that, but I haven't watched how it goes, and 2 or 3 other things. So I'm going to split wood for 5, 6, 7 minutes, but I lose track of time fast. I don't normally have this far back, but this basket here, I don't know if you're seeing, has these that come up, so it's a little bit easier. Once I get it full, I got to put it back. I don't know. Let's see if the old splitter will start again. I haven't had switch problems. I got a video on switch problems. It's still warm enough. It should up. So you might be able to see that light just went out. That light, there it goes. It likes choked. It always likes choked. And then push it right back. It's pretty nasty wood, but it'll burn. Pretty useless gloves. I gotta get some more gloves. I got them all. See, that light went out. That switch is going bad. 16 minutes. That's not too bad. I'll do one more big one. I gotta get I gotta get my edges on. You guys, if you've never been here, I stack these sides up like this. And then you're gonna lose your vantage point. That lets me stack a lot more wood in these totes than they're supposed to hold. But ain't nobody gonna listen to an old man. Ain't nobody gonna listen to an old man. But you can get a lot more wood in that way. A lot more wood. See how much more wood you can get in there, and then you get up to a solid third of a cord. So I'll split one more big one. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna be in the way. I'll put you over here. There's nobody that's gonna handle big ones. There's nobody gonna handle big ones that are awkward any better than the table. Nobody. I really don't think there's anybody that can handle one better than that. just don't think there's anybody out there that can handle big ones individually much better than that. You got the table. Now, some splitters have troughs in them, but you know, you always don't want that cut. Sometimes you want to go to the left or right of that, and that trough would make that kind of difficult for you to do that. If you like it, get it. Don't make any difference to me. But I really think that's why no companies want to reach out to me and say, try this thing, because they're going to know you can't beat what I got here. I got the biggest table in the world. The wood slides easy on that. And if you watch the people with the box wedges that thing's pulling them back, half the time they're in there moving it or setting it right or doing this or doing that, probably 50% of the time, unless they got really pristine wood. And I don't have pristine wood here. I got, you know, gnarly stuff. Plus the box wedges and the multi-split wedges, they tear. You got to plan on a 10 to 20% loss in wood that's going down there. And with a single way wedge, you don't have that. And a lot of people say get a 4-way wedge. Well, a single way wedge is faster. Now I have a thought in my mind to make a 4-way wedge, not for this machine, because this machine is not strong. This machine only has 7 tons of pressure, I think, is max that this thing's got, which is very little. But when you're building a wood splitter or buying a wood splitter, you don't need a 40-ton wood splitter unless you're splitting multi pieces. And those, once you get into that, they're going slow. So if you get into any kind of bite or real pressure, you're going to the slow mode, so the single is faster. And once it comes off with 4 pieces, if you're separating your wood into different spots, this is stacked here, this will get stacked here, okay? That's just getting thrown in because it's over there and it's really garbage and it'll dry faster, okay? If you're stacking it, you come off 4 pieces or 10 pieces or 16 pieces, you can't stack it, because then that splitter's not going to be working. If that splitter ain't working, you ain't making firewood. So anyhow, that's some kind of crazy thoughts with my crazy red glasses. This is going to be tomorrow night's video, or actually it's going to be tonight's video, because you'll see it as a tonight's video, but it was yesterday. Did you figure that out? We'll see you later, guys. I'm going to finish splitting this up and put things away, I think. Bye-bye.